Welcome back to the Ty Deerham Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about something again, over and over. But I wanted to make a Transformer video, but I've been overly inundated with people sending me more and more examples of corporate disbehavior, falsely claiming they're increasing their price due to tariffs, and I am deeper into this mix. I have facts. I can prove that none of these price hikes have anything to do with tariffs yet. And with all of that, this is corporate misbehavior. This is a shenanigan that's going on. But even more than that, since I made this video, that evidently I've been told by multiple people around the entire globe this is the best video explaining the tariffs and why they're instituted and what's going on with them. And now I'm inundated with so many messages, emails, and all this kind of stuff every single day. A, every single person's telling me I'm right, and B, everybody's saying it's way worse off in China. I'm not even going to go into that, but I'm highly fascinated by kind of the door I opened. And then I'm going to touch on this at the end. If you have the scrote, if you have the cojones to understand why the Dow at 38,000 doesn't support fundamentals at 18,000, I'll explain it at the end. We'll talk about this, but it's mostly about toys. Coming up. All right, so on top of being inundated daily with emails about prices being adjusted and shady games getting played, and of course, corporations overcharging customers, I gotta tell you that this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And I've had the stupid Beachcomber on pre-order for over a year. I gotta tell you, my son doesn't want it. I'm about to go cancel all this stuff. I'm gonna cancel all of this. They've raised the price on something I ordered back in either late 2023 or early 2024 because now it's coming and they have no idea what the price will be. Well, I know exactly why Entertainment Earth is doing this. I know exactly why. I mean, if you've been in the game for almost 30 years, you know what the initiatives, the motives, and all that is. So I'll explain that, but let me just go through all of this fun stuff. Now, if you notice, you got an Ultimates roadblock up 10%. So everything across the board is 10% up at Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth has been the place I've gotten some relatively decent deals. And I actually was approached by Entertainment Earth to become an affiliate, but, the whole anti-American, we hate America and American citizens with this new 1099K. I don't need an 11th 1099 on my tax return. So I turned them down because I was going to have to get a 1099 if I were to be an affiliate with them. So I didn't affiliate with them. Anyway, moving into this, here we see $82 for a $75 black and red figure, which, by the way, I canceled because I believe it'll go on clearance for $40 down the road. Or if it doesn't, I'll live without it for the rest of my life. I'll give a flip at this point. I'm really irritated with a lot of the stuff that's going on. And none of this has anything at all, not even 0.00001% to do with tariffs. Not at all. Look at the commander class. $100 to get a commander class now? No, wait. Add tax on. $107 to get a commander class. Now, I'm still through Bbts, and Bbts has honored all my prices, but we will get into that. Now, we've got, I don't care about Marvel, but I pre-ordered my $60 Hulk at Bbts, but Entertainment Earth decided to take it upon themselves to charge $75 without 1 cent of tariffs hitting them yet. And with that, why? Why are they doing this? Entertainment Earth has been the most price-friendly, knocking 10% off of their stuff. We'll get into that. And then another 10% out of everything across the board overall. And wait, Some of the stuff that's in stock still kind of stay the same price, even though, why does the Warduke say pre-order when they have it in stock? Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. But we'll move on from this. Lots of editing here. Let's get into BBTS. Okay, now that we're into BBTS, I'll tell you what Entertainment Earth's deal is. They offer 10% off to all of their affiliates or the people that are working with them. And if you put in their code, you get 10% off. So they're literally just backing out their 10% off. That's all Entertainment Earth did. They backed out their 10% off by increasing their price by 10% across the board. It's not tariff oriented at all. It has nothing to do with tariffs. It has everything to do with them and their whole way that they market. I mean, I'm a marketing major and I understand all of this, but you should have decided this, 8 years ago, 9 years ago when you started this program. Not today, and not taking advantage of the tariff scare that I still think will have no effect in 6 months. Just watch. I mean, I got my conference call with Trump, and he said, don't worry, Mike, your toys aren't going up. Somebody jokingly told me that. They said that toys will not be affected. But then again, of course, you've got ABC News saying toys will be affected. So everybody's still in the unknown sector here. But let's get into BBTS. BBTS, across the board, another 10% raise in their prices. Same exact thing, but they don't offer you 10% off. There's no affiliate link to get 10% off. So there's nothing at all. It's not the same thing as Entertainment Earth. So you can almost halfway forgive Entertainment Earth. BBTS has no excuse. They've not been hit by the tariffs yet. This is in stock product. And then guess what? These reorder items of $200 Wile E. Kit and Wile E. Cats are still MSRP $55. Nothing in this makes any sense. It's not like anything follows a system. Nothing is systematic. It's haphazard, and it makes no sense. We have this in our possession. Let's up it by 10%. But the stuff that's not coming for 6, 8, 9 months? October? And we have no idea what's going on with tariffs? And we're going to leave it the same price. So all this other in-stock product, I'm about to ship my order from them. And I'm thinking about canceling a bunch of it. See, what happens when companies really grab a hold of greed to the next level? They sit on product. They have to move 400, 900, 1,000 pieces. And when 80% of your customers are disgusted with the tactic, they just cancel their order like I'm about to do. And I'm one of the guys that used to buy 3. Now I'm down to 2. I might just go with 1 or none. And with that, wait for a clearance. And I'm so disgusted by a lot of these tactics, I might just do without. I might just quit. I might literally quit with these disgusting tactics that I am seeing right here. And by the way, I will point this out. Brian Flynn has been radio silent for 6 months. Completely. 100% since his last Veebs update. Maybe it was 4 months. G.I. Joe Classified. Now, this stuff hasn't gone up. So how is it so haphazardly making no sense when this stuff here hasn't gone up in price? Everything else in the universe needs a 10% hike, except G.I. Joe Classified? That makes absolutely no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to what's going on other than ultra greed. And why would you be doubling down on ultra greed on the line of Super 7 Ultimates where everyone says it's trash? Except me, I'm the biggest shill, but Brian Flynn can't see that. But this here, it's always been $1 more. It's the way it's been. But I've decided to go with Hasbro because I believe Hasbro will absorb whatever quote-unquote tariff, if it actually ever hits us, ever under any circumstance hits us. I think Hasbro will absorb it better and really adhere to their $24.99 price. And I paid $50 for the premium to do that. Now look at this here. So it says excludes tariff surcharge. So they can give you whatever surcharge they want. They could say $80 for a surcharge for this $26 figure if they choose to. And then you take it or leave it. And I don't know how that's going to work, because everything, once it comes in, they automatically bill you. And then if you cancel it, they get a 4% fee hit back on them for the refunding to your credit card. That's just how it works with the credit card companies. All right, so let's move away from BBTS and their shady stuff. We'll probably get back to that. Let's move on to something called Toy Geeks. I believe this is TF Source, but I can't validate that 100%. I still believe it's TF Source. Toy Geeks. So somehow they have a HasLab for $549, which you can go get that on eBay right now for $400. No big deal. You can get one for $400, probably shipped at this point. So those will sit for a long time. But looking across the board here, Toy Geeks is selling stuff for a pretty high price. But, I don't really think they're going to blame tariffs, because I think TF Source has always been the premium price. And I'm not mad at that. See, some of these things like Kmart themselves, they were always much higher priced than Walmart. Kmart would always have the stuff Walmart was sold out on, so that you paid $1 extra to know you could get it, because it will sit in stock for the next 8 months, because it's $1 more than Walmart. And people will keep going to Walmart every day hoping they can get it, even though you can get it at Kmart for $1 more. Same thing here at Toy Geeks. They're going to charge you $10 more or $20 more, but it's going to sit forever, and then you can eventually buy it. But down the road, they will put some stuff on sale and clearance. And as you see from here, I don't have to explain what you see on the screen right now. $45 for a Zartan's really not bad. Now, if you look in here, they actually have a cheaper price for the Ultimates G.I. Joe Cobra Trooper. See, it was only $27, as low as I've seen it at BBTS. And look at all of this right here. You can see the prices. A $30 Doc's a good price. A $30 Scarlet's a good price. But one of the problems with G.I. Joe Ultimates is the fact that we have absolutely no idea if we'll ever see another figure, ever. And I'm starting to see about 90% of these collectors believe it's over. I still have hope for Brian Flynn, who went radio silent on all of this. At the same time, Brian Flynn's the only person in the world that spoke out in fear of these tariffs 2 years ago. He was in fear of this 2 years ago. Oh, or was it middle of 2024? Maybe it was 1 year ago. Yeah, maybe it was 1 year ago today. Feels like 2 years ago. He spoke out that if there's a trade war with China, that he wouldn't be able to hold his prices. And maybe he's right. I don't know. Getting into this right here, you can see Toy Geeks had some really good deals in the past and sold some stuff for some really good prices. It all sold out. Maybe they don't really know what they're doing. Maybe they don't know what products will be in high demand. Well, I did, because I ordered them at full price instead of waiting for the sale. The stuff I know won't be in high demand, I wait for the sale. And Silverhawks. Now, I didn't really go into Silverhawks on BBTS, so maybe we'll bounce back to that to look at this. But if you're looking at right here, a lot of the stuff selling for less than MSRP, really good prices, and of course sold out. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. But you do have to understand that there was a time where Super 7 Ultimate stuff was $45. Let's get back to BBTS. Now, I still love BBTS, and I hope this gets better, but I'm going to share a letter with you here in a bit if I can find it. if I can find it on my computer. And getting into all this stuff here is ridiculous. $65 Ultimates because they're vac metaled. I never liked that. And then the fact that they all went away, like sold out, and then came back magically and mystically, like in a couple of months, they were able to remanufacture it, ship them all the way back over here, and have them in stock. No, I believe Super 7 held them in the warehouse, just long enough to feel like it might have been another run. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, because conspiracy means your news is guaranteeing it will be real in 2 years. Conspiracy means your news, ABC News, will guarantee you it's real in 2 years if they call it a conspiracy. That's all consistent with everything. All right, getting into this, looking at some of these here. I don't understand how this magically reappeared out of nowhere, and I'm not going to let this go because it really irritates me, because I thought the next run would be fixed. No, it's not a next run. See, it wasn't a second run. Somebody had them in a warehouse just chilling, and I don't know, there are 100, 500, 6,000 of these in stock. We'll never know. Now, I do want to say that this wave here, I did get an extra one because they were on clearance for like 130, and I was like, I can't pass this. I love these figures. I love this toy line, and I really want to see it survive and go past where it is now. But still, radio silent, Super 7 Ultimates from Brian Flynn, and I'm the biggest shill wanting more. Where's all these other shills? Why are these other shills sitting on the freaking sideline doing nothing when we are completely radio silent? What's going on? Now, this just really canceled me. I'm canceled from Vintage Collection completely till Ross or Ollie's gets it in. And I know people are going to be mad at me for saying this, but here's the thing. I'm not in on $18 Vintage Collection figures. Now, I started collecting Vintage Collection when they were, what were they? Original Trilogy Collection, Saga Collection. I gave blood to pay for those. I'm not joking. I literally went and gave blood, and I got paid like $40, and then I bought the figures. And I was like, hey, it's free figures. I won't do that anymore. I've got a lot of people, I got a doctor and a family that said it could collapse one of your arteries. Don't do that anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, I won't do that anymore. But still, come on. They don't need to be $18 at all. And with this, these will end up, not all of them, but most of them, at Ross and Ollie's for $6. And that's when I'll buy them, or I'll live without. So I got this email from Bbts, and I was watching this. I'm not going to read it to you. You can read this. I don't need to read this. But what I gathered from this is kind of what happens when there is something called uncertainty in the future. So we see all of this all the time. Anytime there's uncertainty in the future, we see this. We see people that are scared, confused, irritated, and markets capitulate or go straight down. But in the case of Bbts, they don't really know what's going to happen. They have no confidence in the future, and this actually kind of is a telltale sign of a lot of things that I won't say out loud, but if you really understand, they have no idea what the goals are with this. They never watched my video. They don't have an understanding of the tariffs. If they watched my video, they'd probably be a little more chill on this, right? So you can read this. You can pause it and read it. I mean, if you want to. I read it already, but finally, I absolutely hate increasing prices to you, but yet you're doing it before you get hit with a tariff, which is ridiculous. Joel on here, I gotta say, I've loved Bbts, and I would have loved to have been an affiliate with him, but I guess they only do it for bigger YouTubers like Shartimus and those kind of people. But at the end of the day, I have to say that I don't really think any of the tariff stuff has hit them yet, and they're just planning for the future, planning for uncertainty. They're unclear on what's going to happen going forward, and are trying to put some sort of systems in place to protect their assets, but yet screwing people over at the same time, right? Now we get back to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It dropped. Now, for those of you who are, I guess, financial pansies and don't want to handle truths, jump out now. Tap out. Comment down below you love where we were so far, and just get out. There is no fundamental that supports the Dow above 20,000. There wasn't back in 2017, 18, 2020. We had an influx of $8 trillion, between $6 and $8 trillion of money that was created out of thin air. But since the last 2.5 years, we've had a de-dollarization in a way. We've also had a tightening of the currency. We've had interest rates going up. We've had less and less currency on the market. And with all of that, that's even a bigger downward push on the market. The bubble's overblown, but Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos, all the billionaires and all the financial strategists have gotten out a long time ago. It's just the chump biscuits that are still in there that have no idea what they're doing and shouldn't be investing anyway. The bigger the bubble, the harder it pops and the further down it falls. And we have almost entirely erased the dot-com boom that was going on in the 90s. Now, I did kind of give a lot of credit to Bill Clinton because he did exactly the same thing that's going on right now. Cut 117,000 jobs, cut the government because government was getting too big. Now government is 4 times larger than it was in 1994. And so with all of that, he did the same exact thing, had a surplus, not a debt. Last time we had a substantial surplus. And with all of this, the dot-com bubble went way up, popped because it did not have what's called fundamentals, and then it failed. The market crashed. I lost 30 grand. Same issues happened in 2008 with the housing market crashing. Now, by then, I learned not to be in the stock market. And I actually, oddly enough, was making a lot of money in REITs, real estate investment trusts. They were the most volatile asset. They were more volatile at the time than what we see right now with cryptos. I don't touch cryptos because they're worthless trash. Cryptos are absolute trash, and in the downturn, they will go to zero. So I don't touch cryptos, and if you're in cryptos, use them as a means of exchange, not a means of wealth generation. By the way, none of this is financial advice. It is just me telling you what I do for fun. Don't take any of my what I do as financial advice to you, because everybody's financial situation is a little bit different. Now, what's a fundamental price earnings ratio? Now, one of the things is that when a price is really high and you're making $12 billion a year, and that sort of sustains itself to a level, even though it really doesn't sustain itself. When your earnings drop to $4 billion a year, but your price only drops 10% instead of dropping like 60 or 70%, then there's nothing to sustain your price at that level. And that's a big part of what's been going on for 2.5 years already. This bubble is so big, it should have pricked itself, but nobody pricked it. Well, maybe we just pricked it, and that's a good thing. Now there's this push to get rid of the federal chair, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell, I think, has actually done a better job than most of these Fed chairmen, and he was actually put in place by Trump. But all of this stuff kind of culminates in the fact that he is kind of playing to politics. He never would ever say for 4 years that we need to cut spending, and today, or like, what was it, 3 days ago, he came out saying that we're on an unsustainable path. He wouldn't say that for 4 years. Now all of a sudden he says it, which is interesting because he should have been saying it all along. But the fact that he had the cojones to raise interest rates, and interest rates should be between 15 and 20% right now. They should not go to zero. They should not. I disagree with Trump 100%. We should not go to zero. We need to keep the interest rates higher or we will have hyperinflation. But anyway, what do you think about this video? I gotta say that I would want to end this video saying now all these emails and all these messages about what's going on with all these fake price increases will stop. I think it will actually increase by 1,000%, but still let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I right again and again and again and again? Or do you think I'm wrong? I would love to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Tariff, hang around.